Hello everyone, this is Dansparce and welcome to the first video in our Let's Play The Sims 4 Freebuildberg project. Now, for those of you who are unaware what that is, it's basically where I go and delete everything from The Sims 4, every single house, every single family, every single community lot, just wipe it clean, do a clean slate, and then build everything custom myself. And in the video that I made introducing this series, I asked for suggestions on some buildings, and this one came from Frozen, who asked if I should make some sort of internet cafe, which is a really fun idea. And so that's the first one that I'm doing. So thank you, Frozen, for your suggestion. Now, as you can see, I decided to choose a lot in Oasis Springs because I had in my head an idea for what type of building I really wanted to use and to emulate. And Oasis Springs is the most similar to where I live and to where I grew up, which is Southern California. And in Southern California, at the time that I grew up, there were a fair number of buildings that still existed before they, like the big renovation boom in the 2000s, where basically they redid the exteriors of all these different shopping centers and apartments and everything. But before that, all these buildings had these really cool exteriors from like the 50s through the 70s, and I really liked them a lot. And it's a type, I don't know exactly what that type of architecture is called, like what the style is exactly, but it's one that I'm trying to emulate with this building. So another thing you might notice that I'm doing is I'm building a 2-story building, and that is because I want this to be both an internet cafe but also a cafe. So on the bottom floor, I'm going to have a actual sort of coffee shop. And on the top floor is going to be the internet cafe part, which later on in the video, you will see me add rows of computers and all this other sort of stuff to that part of the building. Now here, you can see me building a little sort of fire escape that I felt I needed to sort of break up the back part of this building. And I'm thinking of adding maybe some trash cans and some other bits of clutter in the back here, just to sort of help add the feel of sort of the backside of a commercial building, and especially one that's not really an office or something, like, just one where it's 2 tenants who just have to do everything on their own. And here you can also see me trying to add a pillar. I thought it would make sense to have like support for the fire escape, but because the building is leveled up, I don't remember what it's called, but it has a foundation. The pillar won't reach, so I just gave up on that. Now you can see here, I'm trying to find the entrance, the right kind of door I want to use for the actual internet cafe portion of the building. I'm not sure if I'll keep that door, but it's the one that made the most sense to me with what I have. And just for the record, I'm not using any custom content. All of my builds are going to be using only stuff directly from The Sims 4. Now, it will have some DLC. I don't have the Vampires DLC yet, so I'm probably not going to be using any of that. And I don't think I would have used any of it in this build anyway. But for the future, all of my builds are going to only have items that you can have also, because I am planning on putting these up into the to make them available to the community. Now here I'm trying to make the entryway, and I haven't been in very many internet cafes in my life. I've been in maybe 2 or 3, over the course of a very long time, because I never really needed to use one. I was never really into competitive gaming that would require a bunch of computers tethered together. And, I also always had internet access, so I never really needed to go to one. But I had some friends over the years who did go to one occasionally. And I felt like I didn't really want this one to be a big one, because I know there are some really large ones that exist in the world, but where I grew up, internet cafes were always sort of in strip malls, and they were always sort of just wedged into wherever they could fit. And so they never really had that many computers. It was sort of a bootleg operation going on. And so here you can see me actually making the cubicles for the computers, and I'm using the half walls to try and sort of emulate the style of a cubicle. And here I thought it would make the most sense to use like counters, because they're very secure to put the computers on. But as you can see, you can't really put chairs. And I didn't want to use like, the move objects cheat or anything to force the chairs, because I really want this to be a usable place for people to come and use the computers. Like if you're on a date or something and you want to just come and play a video game because you're so unhappy, then here you go. Now on the side here, I was originally going to put 2 bathrooms, one male and one female. Male and female, that's a really odd way of describing bathrooms. One men's room and one's women's room. But then I decided to divide one of them because I thought they were too big. So only one of the rooms is now divided into 2, as you can see. And one will be the men's room, one will be the women's room. And I decided the other one will be a back office. Not that it really makes any sense to have a back office, because you can't actually run this business or anything, but I thought it would be a nice little decorative touch. Now here you can see me adding all the banks of computers. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep those desks the way they are, but there wasn't very many options. So I might keep them, but I might change them. I don't really know. I also thought it would be kind of fun to add some gaming tables, just as sort of a place where, in my mind, if this was real life, you would have like, people come to play, Dungeons and Dragons or Magic or what have you on the gaming tables. Even though in the Sims they can't really do stuff like that, they probably just would play the Jenga ripoff. But yeah, I thought it would be just a nice little touch to put in there. Now you can see I created the bathrooms, and I'm still sort of fiddling around with some lighting here. And I decided to just go ahead and put this lighting over each and every one of them. And I think there's 10 computers in there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think there's 10. I don't even know if that many Sims would ever really even use them at once, but I just felt it would be necessary to put in several. Now this other room that I just created in the back, while I was making this video, recording, I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but I think what I'm actually going to do with it is I'm going to turn it into a server room. I'm going to try to find if there's any items that look like servers and just sort of stick them back there. And if there aren't, I might turn it into a little arcade nook, like put an arcade machine. Now this right here, what I'm doing for the back office, this is what took the majority of the time when I was making this. Like, I think I'm only halfway through the video now, and we're getting in on the office space. And this really just, I sort of got completely distracted and started just really focusing heavily on this office space. And here I am trying to really find the right kind of window, and I ultimately decide that it would be best to just put it in the back here, even though it doesn't get as much light in the back there. But I thought it kind of makes sense. It's a back office. It's probably not going to get much natural light, just to sort of add to the depressing situation of whoever has to be back here. So now I'm activating some cheats to sort of be able to put some clutter around. I'm not very good at cluttering. I try to be, but I'm really not. Put some tissues because, you know, people get lonely in the back here. You need something, some files. I thought I did a pretty good job with this. There's a lot of fun items to add for the back here, because you know, The Sims 4 has been really good with having like office items, and I really think that's because of the get to work with the police, the law enforcement and job career. Now here I am adding just a bunch of files. Now, realistically, I don't really think a business this small would need this many files, but I like how it looks. And I don't know about you, but if anyone out there has had a job at like a very small business, either a small independently run business like a mom and pop operation, or even a business that is just a smaller store of a larger chain, I'm sure like this sort of cluttered and sort of dingy and not really up to date sort of back room really looks familiar. I know it looks a hell of a lot familiar to me, although the last office that I was in was much smaller than this. I worked over the holidays for a company that I won't say, and the back room literally was a fire hazard. There were boxes and files and all this crap just everywhere. You really couldn't sit down even. It was pretty amazing, I have to say. Now here I'm trying to add some curtains. And one thing that I noticed with The Sims 4 is there aren't that many depressing curtains. And I don't even know why I thought curtains would look good, because I finally found blinds and I was like, oh yeah, blinds makes much more sense. Now I also decided to add some posters and some other things on the walls to try and sort of tie it in with the whole sort of nerd geek culture that I think, you know, whoever would run an internet cafe would like. But I also decided to add some industrial pipes just to sort of, you know, make it clear that maybe this building, like this room was not meant to be an office. You know, maybe it's really like a boiler room of some sort. But anyway, I put a diploma in there to sort of like just add to the depressing nature of whoever owns this business. You know, they went to college, they got a degree, and this is what they have to show for it. Then I got a little distracted and tried adding some artwork and other things to this part of the internet cafe, and then I saw more pipes and I immediately had to go back to where I was going. Now, as you can see, I'm still adding some stuff. I added a jersey, I added a neon light. I'm just trying to really sort of fill up the back here. Maybe this person has worked here a very long time and just has collected this stuff over the course of their career. You know, maybe they opened up in the 80s and, you know, and then the business didn't go well, and so they didn't have much time to upgrade things, or I don't know. It's just, in making the back office, I was sort of coming up with a story for whoever actually owns this business, and I was trying really hard to make it feel interesting. Now, I also here I decided to make the interior of this place brick, because I felt like that just sort of added to the kind of industrial sort of feel that the space was having. And it also, like, it feels also kind of like a pizza place. Like it has that sort of childish sort of feel to it if you add the brick. Like, if you understand what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Like, I felt like the brick seemed to make the most sense, even though it doesn't really work with the exterior that I'm going to be doing. The brick, I felt like, really enhance the feel of being in this sort of dark sort of place. Now for the floor, I decided to go with a carpet for at least part of the flooring. I decided to not do flooring for all of it because I figured there'd be a lot of spills and messes because, you know, people are not the cleanest. And a wooden floor would be easier to clean, I feel. But yeah, so we're getting close to the end of the stuff that I've actually recorded at this point. And I would just like in the comments you guys to let me know if you liked this style of video and if you would like me to continue doing it this way. I felt like it would be easier for me to go through a build in this style than just doing it in real time. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with doing it this way, so I'm not comfortable doing it. I probably am rambling a lot. Maybe I need to make them shorter. I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And yeah, I'm ending this probably way too quickly. Yeah. Anyway, I've been working on this build on my own also for a little while. So the next time we come back to it, it'll probably look a little bit different, but I'm sort of satisfied with how the actual internet cafe portion of it looks. So that will not look that much different. So probably in the next video, we'll start focusing on exterior elements and maybe working on the actual cafe part. I just have to say, these bathrooms, I love these bathrooms. I wish there was some sort of like hideous texture that I could put on the floor to add like cracks and drips, because I want there to be like mold and dirt in those bathrooms because they look so gross. Also, if anyone could let me know, how does a cash register work just on its own like this? Like, will that be causing me a problem if I leave it there, or do I need to get rid of it? I don't know. I haven't really made many commercial businesses in The Sims 4 before, so I don't know if that will cause a conflict with having a cafe downstairs or some weirdness, but you know, let me know. This has been going on, I think, for a little bit too long, so I'm gonna cut this off. I'm starting to ramble. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, leave any questions, suggestions, constructive criticism would be great. Let me know what you think of the build so far. And until next time, folks, this has been Dansparce. Bye.